Let's try 2 minutes before to join. And okay, so hello sir, my name is Abhishek Patel. I am from Prayagraj. I am pursuing MCA from IIT Jamshedpur with current CGPA 8.72 and year 2.
Hello.
Hello sir, good evening.
Hey Abhishek, good evening. What's up?
It's fine sir, everything is going good.
So are you in college hostel or like where are you right now?
Yes, like I'm in my college hostel at an IIT Jamshedpur.
And like exams mid semester are they over or like what's the current state right now?
Like they are about to come in March, in the first week of March.
Okay. Cool. So like the way this interview will go is first of all you can introduce yourself, then we can talk about the skills, the kind of experience you have, any projects which you have built up, and then we'll take it forward from there.
Okay. Okay, so now, should I introduce her now?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
start.
Good evening sir, my name is Abhishek Patel. I am from Prayagraj. I am currently pursuing MCA from IIT Jamshedpur with current CGPA 8.72. Prior to this, I had completed my BCA from University of Allahabad with 8.9 CGPA. I am a full stack developer with my expertise in Stack and along with databases like MongoDB and MySQL and PostgreSQL. And I have developed multiple projects including a chat application, a full stack to-do list, and a dispensary management system, which is a live project in my college. And like I have also developed other projects like Dev Analyzer, which is a coding profile analyzer project. So I like to also do computer programming, and I have solved around 1000 problems cumulative of all the platforms, and I am I achieved pupil at Code Forces, and these are all things about me. Thank you.
And like, can you walk me through one of the most complex projects that you have built so far, and what are the challenges you faced while implementing that?
Okay, so in the very starting when I was learning React, then the first project that I was building, that was a coding profile analyzer. So there, the challenge was is to we were fetching the data from the Codeforces API, and the data was coming in the form of the JSON. But I have to make visual chart so that there can be visually we can represent the comparison of the two coding profiles. So for that we have to apply a lot of algorithms behind that, so that the data can be structured in such a way that when it go to the the Google chart, then the chart can be made. So in that part, the every chart that I was making, suppose that I am making a chart for a participant has how many times he has participated in a contest, or maybe how many problems he had solved. Like I am making a bar chart, or I am a column chart, or maybe line chart. Then I have to prepare the data in such a way. So that was I was feeling like I am solving a DSA problems in real life. So that was.
So, like, is the code deployed somewhere? Can you show me?
Okay, so yes. Let me see my screen. If I take the link from my resume. Okay, so here we get the home page, and here we have to input the profiles from the Codeforces. So I am giving my profile and one of my friend's profile, and we have to fetch the data. So this is how the data is fetched from the Codeforces API. Then the data is structured and given to the Google Chart API. Then we get these type of charts, what are the current rating and minimum and maximum ratings, how many contests the user has given, what is the maximum and minimum rating changes, Also, what are the best and the worst rank that the user has got, and this is the line chart which shows the overall like the rating changes of the both the users. And these are the how many questions a user has tried and how many questions he has solved, what are the unsolved questions, and all the other graphs, the level of these questions. So I had built this. And yes.
For this chart, have you used like package like Material UI, or did you like create it from scratch?
Okay, so at that time I was not able to do things to create this chart from the very scratch, but I had used Google Charts. So we had this Google Chart, and using these APIs I have built that by reading their documents and all.
So like earlier you mentioned that there was a challenge with the charts. Can you explain me that a bit?
Yeah. See, here we have to chart. We just have to give that we are giving an array of data. Okay, but when we fetch the data from the Codeforces API, it comes in a JSON format. And now when we have to suppose that I am building this chart. Okay, so in this way I have to structure this data in such a way that so that this chart can be made. Maybe sometimes I am making a 2D array, or maybe array inside which in 3D array, so that the data should be structured to make these forms, and those structures are given here, so I have to convert those formats. So inside my JS, so that was challenging. And another thing in this project on which I am working, so if we go to lead code, it is just simple. I have not developed this part because for the Codeforces we have public API which is documented on their their website on the Codeforces. But for the lead code, about 2 or 3 years ago, lead code started using GraphQL. Before that they were using REST API and all. But when they are using GraphQL, they are the public APIs are not available to use. But then let me show you if I go to, so here they use GraphQL. So then I got to know that okay, if they are using GraphQL, then I should learn GraphQL, and maybe then I can fetch the data from their API. So then I learned the only GraphQL that I need to fetch the data. Then I learned about this, and I am making a backend API layer, which my backend API layer will fetch the data from the lead code API in GraphQL. Okay, then I will make a REST API backend, so that because from here I want to fetch using my REST APIs. So I am making a backend API layer. So what it will do, I am fetching the data from the lead code API using GraphQL. Then I am from here I will use REST API to fetch the data from my backend. Okay, so this was the experience when I got to know okay, I have to use GraphQL, or here I feel I had to learn about this GraphQL. Then also I know about why lead code is using GraphQL, they are doing smart work as the GraphQL provides us. Yes, sir.
What's the advantage of using GraphQL above?
Yes. Okay. So basically, lead code handles a lot of data. So in the GraphQL, we have advantage that we can get only those data that is required now. So in their query, we can specify what are the attributes that we need right now. Only we can select those attributes, and we will get only those attributes when we are requesting some data. Whereas in the REST API, if we are hitting a endpoint, then we get a lot of data, the full data that is defined on the backend. And the difference is whatever data we will get from the backend, it is decided on the backend side if we are taking about the REST API. But in the case of GraphQL, the client decides that what are the data do I need, because in the GraphQL there is only single endpoint. Yes. So these are benefits of GraphQL over it. So it solves the problems of underfetching and overfetching. These are the problems that GraphQL solves.
Got it. So can you open a React editor online, Code Sandbox or any React editor?
Okay. Okay, yes sir. So I have this and here is my app.jsx.
So, like, can you clear this code? This,
Okay, why not?
tab?
Okay.
Okay. So I wanted to create a counter application. So counter and then increment function. The only catch here is that when you are, let's say, incrementing a counter to 2, so like the counter should update after an interval of 2 seconds. So if my counter is 5, wait for so much seconds. So increase, decrease, and both you have to wait for that many intervals before updating the value.
Uh, like okay, so like if my value is anything something x, so I have to wait x seconds, right? If we are taking unit in second, I have to wait x seconds before doing any changes, be it increasing or decreasing, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so like okay, let me try it. So okay, so already like here is a counter variable, so counter state, so I will not make another one. So we have count, and let me show this count variable first. So we have 0 here, and let me make a button first of all. Increase and sorry. Okay. Okay, we are not going to design now. So okay, now like I have to apply the on-click functions on it. So let's say I have a function which is handle increase, and here I will say on click you have to handle, this function will handle the on click event. Similarly, I will create another function which is handled decrease, and I will say that okay, whenever I am clicking this button, so this is the function that will handle this event, handle decrease. Okay, so first of all let me normally decrease it, after that I will implement that timer part. So what I have to do, I have to set count, and let's say I have this previous value. Okay, let me do this, then some value will come this. I have to increase it, and here I have to decrease it. Let me test it then. Okay, so increase. Okay, this is increasing and this is decreasing. It's going good. But we have to wait. So until this is working fine. Like we are decreasing and increasing, right? But now we have to wait for that second. Okay. So okay. So what can I do? So okay. So I have to decrease that after waiting. Nice. So I can do like this, like set timeout, and let me give this function. This is the callback function, and this can be the time, and the time will be like okay. So time will be 1. Then I have to multiply it by 1000 because 1000 ms. Okay. So let me multiply it by this 1000. And I will test it. So what I have to do, so like this, okay, and this will take the value and this will set out the timeout. Okay, let me test it first, then I will do any modification if needed. So okay, So currently the value is 4. Let me try to decrease it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is not updating. Great. And when I say, the value. Okay, well, let me try another approach. Maybe this will work. So let me take like this here. Then I will like set time out and here then I will set into like this, and I will say here set count and previous plus 1 maybe. Let me comment this. Okay, so I will try increasing. It has gone from there. Oh, okay, the value is like updated. Let me do this in the decreasing also, then I will check what is going there. Like let me comment it so that we should differentiate like what was lacking there. So let me decrease this value. Okay, so let me decrease it. So the value is gone, and now maybe after 5 seconds the value should come. Okay, now less time should be required. Okay, maybe in 3 seconds, 2 seconds and 1 second. Okay, so this is working, and like when it is 0, but now here is the catch. When we have to increase it, it's yes 0, then 1. Now it has to wait. So I think this is working fine, sir. Like it is waiting for so much seconds, and now the value is updated after that much seconds.
Why is the value like going off and then coming? Why can't it just stay at 2 and then we go to 3?
Okay, so let me see it why it is having so. When we are on this, the value is gone from here. So maybe like see what's going inside. Maybe it is going in that like set timeout until that time that value is going, right? This is a good question, like why it is going. Like to handle it, maybe I can use another variable, but what it is going like the behind the value is going off. I think I cannot determine this, like why the value is going. It's like,
can it be because set count you are calling twice, and when it's called first, it's setting the value to none? Why are you calling set count twice?
like see when like I was using this approach, so when I was using this approach, so I was not getting the current value, like but when we do like this, then we at any time like we get the exact value of that state. That's why I'm using this approach.
Can you see like what's wrong with the earlier approach?
Okay,
There is a bug, that's why it was not working.
like if I again, okay, so actually here I have to get that current value. That's why that was not working. Set timeout. Okay, maybe I can do like this. Whenever I am calling this function, maybe I can pass that current value. Maybe I can do it. Let me try. So I am trying it on decrease. Okay, so here I will say be like this. What I have to do, I have to call this function, but I am passing the count. Okay, I will receive this count here. But why I am receiving it? Like I have already this variable, but let me try it again. Let me put it here now, and previous to previous -1. Okay, let me try it.
First
This
save
will
कर लो.
Sorry.
File save कर लो ना पहले.
Okay. No, it is working, sir. It is working.
That is working.
Yeah, it is working. Yes. See, the value is not going there, and it's working. And I can implement it in the the increasing function also. It should work.
Can we do it without this count variable?
Without this count variable.
Yeah.
You don't want me to pass this variable every time when I am calling this function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me think about it. So, I am not passing this now. Okay.
Then you can keep it for decrease. Increase में let's fix it without that.
Okay, let me try that. So let me comment this logic and let me try it here. Okay, so of course this would not be value, this would be count, and I think this was the mistake I was doing. Let me increase it. It is working. So silly mistake I was doing. This I think this was the thing I was missing. Okay.
Got it. So you
Actually, yes. In the initially, I had written here value. That was I was thinking okay, why am I taking that value? That's my mistake. Yes, obviously. But this thing.
instead of debugging your code, you created two overly complex functions.
No, yes, you are right. But I thought that okay, why it's not working, so I should maybe go on some other approach. So that's why.
No, it's fine. Sometimes in interviews you want to ship the answer fast and all, but this is just my advice to take a bit slowly. Spend your time. First identify why your approach is not working and then fix it. And first of all, identify why was it not working. What you did was you thought that this is not working, so let me try something.
Yes, basically when I'm coding alone or something, literally we don't have pressure, and then we have I think about it why this is not working and why it should working. I go inspect and all these things I do. But here maybe I was in a rush. I felt like that. Sorry for that.
It's fine.
That's fine.
Okay, so now can you tell me what sort of backend technologies do you have experience in?
Okay, so in the if I talk about the basic backend Node.js, Express.js, and JWT authentication, and I have not implemented, but I have heard and learned about the Redis things, and if I talk about the databases, I have used MongoDB, SQL, SQLite, and PostgreSQL in some of my projects. So, and I have not used any ORM so far, but I am trying to learn Prisma, but I think that should not be the case. Learning Prisma is not so difficult, I think.
So first of all, can you tell me what is an ORM and what are its advantages?
So basically, when we are using any databases, let's say it is PostgreSQL, then we have to write a lot of long queries, maybe it the whole query which can be large, and we have to think about maybe it is efficient or not. Then and when we are using any other databases, or let's think that we are using Postgres at the beginning of our project, and after some time we need to change these databases. Then what we have to do, if we are changing it to from Postgres to MongoDB, then we have to write those queries, or we have to write those queries again. Okay, but using ORM, it is giving us a middle layer. It will handle all those queries. We have to learn Prisma, we have to use their commands, their functions that they have provided, and this will handle the the connection to the databases, like the how the data will be stored in the databases and how we are like retrieving that data. That things will be will be done by the Prisma or any one that we will use. Like that basically makes our life easy when connecting to databases. Basically.
And what are the different type of DBs which we have?
Okay, so if we talk about at a high level, then we have like relational databases, then we have like SQL databases, which are basically relational databases, RDBMS. Then we have no relational databases like be it MySQL and MySQL and SQLite, or it is PostgreSQL. Then we have NoSQL databases like MongoDB, and we have Redis. Then we have like hierarchical databases like IBM and IMS. Then we have like network databases, Codacil, etc. And columnar databases we have. So these type of databases like we have basically at high level if I talk about.
What are the pros and cons of each type, and can you give me examples where you should use one over the another?
Okay, so majorly I can like briefly explain you about why when we should use RDBMS or when we should use NoSQL. But if I talk about the other databases like the hierarchical and the columnar, I think they are advanced, and like I don't have.
Fine. For now, let's stick with SQL and NoSQL.
Okay, so see, the major benefit of using RDBMS when you talk about is the transactions. So when we suppose that we are making an app tomorrow, and we see that okay, we have to handle a lot of transactions. Like when we talk about the banking apps, then there is a lot of transaction, and there is a concurrency. So at that time we should prefer using RDBMS because it provides us the ACID property when we have to use those property, and we need that okay, our apps need this property. Then we use like RDBMS. If when we should use NoSQL, since in the larger projects scaling NoSQL databases is easier, so in those cases we should use NoSQL databases. And if it's transaction based and we are our preference is using those ACID properties in the transaction, then we should use the relational database systems. So
why do you think scaling a NoSQL DB is easier than an SQL DB?
Well, I don't have like a detailed explanations or experience in scaling, but there is something called like horizontal and vertical scaling, and in the NoSQL databases we can use like horizontal scaling and all. And I know that we can use Redis in with the MongoDB, it is suited well. So I think that's why we should prefer MongoDB or NoSQL databases for scaling and all.
Got it. And do you know what are indexes in a DB?
Okay, so when we talk about indexes, we talk in the terms of RDBMS. So we are not talking in NoSQL databases. So basically, suppose that we have large amount of data, we have crores of record in our the database, and suppose that I want to search a record in that database. Okay, so if we suppose that we are not using any indexes, so what we have to do, we have to linearly search all over the data, and obviously this will take a lot of time. Then what we can do, we can divide the whole records into some segments, and at the head of each segment we can use indexes. It's like when we open any book, we have indexes at the first and second page, so that we can get to any page easily. It's like the same way, it's analogy, like we are taking from the book. Similarly, we have indexes, and from that indexes we can go to any segment, and from there we can find those records easily.
And what are the let me frame it differently. When should we use an index and when we should avoid an index?
Okay, so see, indexing works well if our data can be sorted in any manner. Then we can use indexing. It will work better because we can use their binary search algorithms. And also when we if we have less data or less number of records, then obviously using indexing is not good there, because indexing also takes some memory there. So if we would like we have less number of records, then we should not use indexing, and if we have a large number of records and we have some sorting or some pattern, then we can use indexing.
Let's say sorting is also possible and database size is also huge.
Okay.
Now can you give me an example where you should avoid using an index and where you should use an index?
Okay. So we have a large amount of data and it is sorted, but still what are the cases that we should avoid indexing? Well, I think now I am not able to think about it when should we not use indexing in such cases.
So if I were to give you a hint, so what will happen if I am inserting and updating a row in my DB? What will happen when there is indexing and what will happen when there is no indexing? What will be the difference in these?
Okay, so basically when we are using indexing, then we have to if you are not using indexing, then we can directly we can insert that data and it will update it in that table. But when we are using indexing, then we have to update those index, we have to find in which segment our record will go. So it will take more time, and also indexing also takes some memory. It's memory that it takes. So obviously in those cases it will take more time, and let's say we have a large of insertion, more than the triple we have large of insertion. Yes, when we have large of insertion of data, then obviously each time we have to handle those indexes, then that is the drawback. We don't have to use them.
Yeah, so basically when you have more reads and updates, you
Yes.
do indexing and otherwise you don't.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
I had one question in my mind which you just slipped right now.
Okay. From backend or from DSA or all?
No, from the I was following up on the DB only, but somehow it slipped when I was explaining it. That's okay. We'll come to it later. Okay, for now, let's move back to front end.
Okay.
So, can you explain to me, I'm a kid, but what is use effect and where do we use it?
Okay. See, so everything we have side effects. Everything everything has when we do something there is a side effect. Some things happens when something is done. When we do, suppose that when we do something wrong, then maybe we are scolded by our parents or our teachers. Similarly, in the front end we are developing a website, we need a behavior such that when this thing happen or when this value will be changed, you have to monitor on this value, and then when this value will be changed, you have to perform some operations. It operations may be anything, maybe you are decreasing a value or anything value. At that time when this value changes, when the value of this state or the variable changes, you have to perform these functions. Then at that time we can use this use effect. In the use effect we have a dependency array, and if we are not giving any value to the dependency array, then when the components mounts, then at that time that callback function will run. But we can give any states in those dependency array, so the use effect will monitor those states, and whenever the value of those states changes, the use effect will fire those callback functions. This is how it works.
And what are promises and callbacks in there?
Promises and callback. Okay, so first, if I talk about callbacks, so callbacks are basically a function which is basically passed inside another function. Suppose that like previously we seen that like I was passing a function in the set timeout. So set timeout was basically after this many time the function will be run, and that function can be the function can be anything. So the function which was inside the set timeout was a callback function. Similarly, we use in the use effect. Now, if I talk about what was the another thing, sir. So promise. Okay. So promises are something. It are the like events. It is something that will be like ultimately it can be complete or maybe it can be rejected. Suppose that I am making a request to the backend, and so ultimately maybe our request can be fulfilled or it may be rejected. So we use promises for that. Like I have to wait there, and ultimately I will get some response, and maybe like the our response is resolved or maybe it is rejected.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And what are async and await, and
Okay.
what is the difference between them and promise and callback?
Okay. So basically, to handle these promises, like previously, like we have to use like when we are using a function which is basically return a promise, then we have to use dot then or dot catch and these things. But after like in year 6, after coming to year 6, we have provided these async and await functions. Sorry, async and await these keywords, and what they do basically, async basically provides us the behavior so that our JavaScript can run in a like asynchronous manner. Since we know that JavaScript is a single-threaded synchronous language, so basically async provide us the behavior so that our JavaScript may like behave like it is a asynchronous language. So when we are using await means we have called a function that is returning a promise. Suppose that I am asking from some data which will come from the like the database, and obviously the database can be large and like sometimes will be taken. So we have to use await there. Okay, wait until this data is come. We have to wait there, and in which function we are using await, we have to like before it's the parameters, we have to use the keyword async there. So, like these are like the used in the combinations, like async await are used in the combinations basically.
And what is the difference between state versus props?
Okay, sure. So states are basically variables. They are used to like the maintains the value of the variables. Like we had used count there. If you think for a moment that why cannot just declare a variable let count or where count. So basically, if we declare such variables, then after refresh or when the compound will render, those values will be reinitialized. They will be redeclared. So here after like here we are given, when you talk about like the functional components, then we are given these hooks, which is use state hook, and using that use state hook we have to make state so that the value is like the persistent when the our components is re-rendered something. And again, when we talk about the props are basically, if we take an analogy, like when we are calling in function, we have to pass some value. It is similar to that analogy. Like when we are, suppose that I have a parent component and I have a child component, and like sometimes we may have a condition so that we have to pass some value from the parent component to the child component, then we can pass it using props, and also we can receive it on the child component. So these are the basically state and props.
Nice. What is event loop in Node.js and what are its advantages?
Okay, so event loop, like it is something when we talk about like the Node.js, like suppose that we have a lot of things to do in the JavaScript, like many things are going on at the same time. So basically, suppose that there is something event that need to be completed or something, then the Node.js or the JavaScript basically language is when looping means it's basically loops over those events, this event is completed or not. Suppose that we have like that function which was timeout, then the basically the JavaScript runs loop and loop again. Okay, if this event is triggered or not, if this button is clicked or something, then that event will be handled basically in this way.
Let's take a step back. What are events in JavaScript?
Okay, events is basically, we can say that events basically it is something, a time, when we are, it is something, a action that should be performed when something happens. Basically event is that maybe it can be a click of a button, maybe we are hovering something, maybe a compound, like the component is rendering, or maybe we are reloading the page. Like these things are events, and we have to handle those events. Like when these things will happen, what are the things that need to be performed, or how this event can be handled.
And do you know what are mutex locks?
Well, these terms come from when we talk about concurrency, when we basically we talk about in multi-threading, when you talk about the multi-threading codes, then since the threads are they are they performing the operations at the same time, then we have to manage those. Suppose that if I take a general example, then suppose that there is a ATM, and we know that in an ATM only one person should go in there, then we can use like the mutex lock. Whenever the person is there, then no one can use that ATM, then he will come out, then he will remove the lock. So this way this mutex lock works basically.
So I think tech side we have covered. Now I want to come to the timings and all other things. Let's say we go ahead with this internship, and we are looking for people who can join us immediately, because we are very early in our development, and we are looking for people who can join us early so that they can also grow, because in a early stage startup you obviously get to learn a lot in a very few amount of time.
Yes.
So first of all, I just want what sort of daily or weekly time commitments can you give for this internship, and what are your plans and goals for the near and long term?
Okay. So since I am in my 4th semester, and my the official placement season that will start, it will from around the August or September of this year. And if I talk, let me talk about my attendance and all these criteria in my college. So since I am a PG student, I am doing masters here. So we don't have any attendance criteria. So and if I talk about the exams, so I have to study for exams 1 week before. So for that time I will be busy, but rather than the exams, I dedicate all my times in coding and all these projects do. So I have a time and I can do it. In the previous time, from the September to the January, I was working in a project, I already mentioned in my intro, I was working in a project. It is a live project which is a dispensary management system. And then at that time, we had a lot of pressure, when they were selecting the candidates for that project, since that project is live, and we have also some security concerns in that project. So the whole inductions of my class were taken, and also of the BTech and others. Then 2 or 3 students were selected from the BTech, and 2 students from the my batch, they were selected. I was in them. So at that time, we had exams, but the professors were they were not understanding us, and they were giving new requirements, and we have to complete those under that pressure. So I have handled that pressure, so I think I can do it. And also if I talk about the taking requirements, then we have to till January we have to go every week to the doctors, the doctors which are sitting in the dispensary. We have to we have to visit them, and we have to we were used to show the the results, or show the outcome that we were doing, and we have to take the new requirements or any changes. Okay, so doctor, we had implemented the previous requirement that you had asked for to us, and now what are the other requirements that you need to be implement in the current software. So this was all going till January.
So when are your exams coming, and from when to when will you be busy and like?
Okay, so here like my exams is from 4 March to 10 March.
Okay.
Yes. So at that time like my exam, so I will be busy at that time, obviously.
Got it. Okay, I think that's fine. If you have any questions for me.
Basically I wanted to know like before that like I joined to your company, like I wanted to know that what are the things that I should like prepare more to like to be a good valuable to your team, basically. Like what are the feedbacks I wanted, like a feedback to me.
So basically, I think the basics are covered for you. So mostly you know your way around front end and back end. So like there is no particular requirement which I can think at the moment. But when you join us, then the like the quality of code which you like develop there, then based on that we can work on the feedback and all, like what all can be improved and all those stuff. But for now, I think if you know your way around React and Node and you are confident in how like about the concept, like let's say we discuss hooks, events, and all these things. So if you are aware of the things and you can debug things easily, it would be beneficial because we are developing things at a very fast pace, and we are looking for people who can ship things faster. So like sometimes it's an issue when an intern is, let's say, not experienced so much, so they might spend more time debugging or working on something which they haven't worked before. But if you know deep down how the technologies work, you can figure it out with the bugs. And in the current day and age, you also have benefit of GPT and also that can help you, let's say, do more in a few time. But then again, GPT has its issue that if it gets stuck in an error, you should be able to identify that, because if GPT stuck, then it gets stuck in an infinite loop only.
Yes.
So all those things happen right now, but that we'll see when the internship begins.
Yeah, obviously. Well, since I had some experience from that project, and that project is like a professional project, so I had some like the good quality of like the code, but since we know that there is always room for improvement, so like I'd be welcome for that, obviously.
So like in your exams, so like you're saying after 4 you have your exam, right? So like before that, can you give us some time, or do you want to like work for your exam? And also during exams, can you like give an hour or so if we join early?
Well, giving an hour or 2 hours, it's not an issue. When it's my exam, I am also like doing the daily POTDs which are coming, and if I have to if I have a contest, I attend it. Then I will not do those things. Then when I have joined you, so giving 2 or 3 hours, it's not an issue.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is like if we onboard you, then for the initial week or so, you can just go through with the code base and you just get used to it basically. So like spending an hour or so daily, maybe picking up small tasks, if you can like adjust with that, then it would be better for us.
Yeah, as I said, like when I'm not doing anything, like currently I'm not doing internships, and also the previous project has been completed so far. So what I do basically, I have to do the POTTs, and I have to like the prepare for the contest, and I'm not solving those for the contest. So I am giving those times. So I will not do those things because like when I will join the internship, so I will devote my time there.
Makes sense.
Yes.
I think these were all the questions which I had at the moment, and if you also don't have, then we can totally.
Yeah, basically like if you are running out of time, then of course we can leave. But I had some questions like I wanted to know about the basically what we'll be doing in the internship, and like the other details about it.
So we are very early in our journey, and we are building solutions for your import-export industry.
Okay. Okay.
So our main offering, which we are working on at the moment, is an EBL solution. So we are using various technologies to achieve that. If I go ahead and explain you what an EBL is, it will probably take more time. But the thing is, so the kind of things which we are working on, so it involves front end, back end, blockchain, AI, and all sorts of technologies to basically help our clients with like tools and features which can like save their time and cost a lot.
Okay. Okay.
And so like if I had time, I could have explained that there are some 18 different components which we have in our like pipeline.
Okay, no problem, sir. Maybe we can discuss it later. Like,
Yeah.
like I wanted to know like the something or the perks that I will be getting, like the certificate and all these things. Like I wanted to know about this.
Yeah. So you will get all those things in terms of certificate and all, and you like the people who like join us early and who show like good work ethics. So we are thinking of like when we raise investment, we are also like mostly looking for people who can join us as an intern, and then maybe we can onboard them full time as an employee with us afterwards also. So we are looking for people who are there for us for the long term instead of like a couple of months of an internship. So that sort of things you can expect from us.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, got it, sir.
Cool, then I think I'll get back to my team and then we'll get back to you.
Okay. Sure, sir. It was a nice round, sir.
Yeah, same like you.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bye, Abhishek.
Bye, sir. Thank you. अरे भाई साहब. Well, the interview gone fire. Literally better than yesterday. Fire. What will happen? I don't know. If no any conflict arises in their team, that person is surely gonna hire me. But well, I don't know about the stipend I will be getting. Maybe I'm not getting because they are at very starting stage. But the interview was lit. मजा आ गया.